Clock starts now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ash, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm so excited and honored this afternoon to pitch to you a solution called Albright. Albright is a web-based application that connects students to universities' health services and university health services to their value, which is the student experience. Students in colleges are right now facing a mental health epidemic. 25% of college students are at risk for suicide, 33% are depressed, and 50% are lonely. Over the past year, students' requests for mental health services has increased by 33%. But universities cannot meet this increasing demand. And at Johns Hopkins Counseling Service, there is a 3 to 4 week wait for an appointment. To explore this two-sided problem further, the Albright team conducted open-ended interviews with students across Hopkins schools, and we asked them broadly what health means to them. And we came away with 3 critical insights, which brought Albright and all of us here where we are today. Students, as they're on their academic journey, which is their path to become their best selves, are experiencing a time crunch, given all the academic, professional, personal, and financial responsibilities they're facing. And unfortunately, the university is an obstacle along this path right now. With its uncommunicated health services, difficult to find healthcare services, or services that are simply unavailable, the university is not helpful, unfortunately. And finally, students yearn to have a community with each other. They want to know what they're all thinking and feeling. Albright is a solution at the pain point between students who are looking for health services and universities who do want to support their student body and leverage its existing resources. So, as you'll see from the Albright student experience, that they're onboarded to university health services in their voice, on their terms. You see from this list of health services that there are 5. From our interviews across the student body, these 5 types of mental health services are what's important to students. So as you saw on that first page, after they identified what school they're in, what campus they're located, and what type of academic program they're in, they get to take their first step and identify what part health services are going to be part of their health journey. And what's special about Albright is if students want to know what specific health services are associated, highly rated, and highly used by identity-based groups, they can do this. So for example, if as a woman, someone wants to know what health services are highly rated and highly used by women, they can identify and show this preference here. And after doing this, it's time to go. The student's health journey has begun. So now moving on to the University Albright experience. You'll see that the Albright University experience grants administration visibility to the health services that the school offers. It shows administration the number of services and their annual spend towards those services, and juxtaposes this with the student experience on these services and the number of times students export these services into their calendar. Universities can see Albright's key performance indicators: how many students are visiting Albright, what type of students are visiting Albright, what students are providing ratings of their services and stars, what students are commenting and saying about these services. And envisioning Albright in the future, we see Albright functioning as a benchmarking tool that enables universities to see how much they're spending on each university health service and compare this to the average university spend in the nation. So our value proposition is clear. Albright helps students navigate health services, creates them a personalized onboarding experience for them, and creates community where they can rate and comment on health university services. Our value to the university is that it grants visibility to the student experience, acts as a resource management tool and a benchmark, and can even help with engagement and recruiting. Given the value proposition we offer to universities, Albright has a B2B model that scales with the university body size. We will charge a one-time implementation fee so we can, for agile web development and implementation with the university, and then charge ongoing maintenance. At this point, Albright will be operating as a software as a service. Our revenue projections are bright, and as we continue to onboard more universities, our revenue will increase thanks to those high margins from the ongoing maintenance. And we plan to reinvest and continue to learn about students in universities as their needs change. The US market is a great place for us to start. There's 5,300 universities, and our goal is to get to 50, which is 1% of this obtainable market and represents $15 million. This is the Albright team, and our clinical lead and leader in DJ, Dr. Luke Powell from Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. I'm the storyteller and design lead from the Maryland Institute College of Art and Hopkins Business School. Our business guru, Frederick Hsu, is from Carey Business School, and our technical expert, Daniel O'Neill, is from Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. Critical to our pilot success as Johns Hopkins is our partnership with student groups, A Place to Talk, and Johns Hopkins Mental Health Growth Network. Our mission is to make every college student's journey bright and to ensure that students are happier and healthier on graduation day than they are on orientation day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Albright. Great job. And at this time, we'll have our judges come back on video for some feedback. We'll go with Neil, Brian, Adam, and then Eileen.
So Laura, great presentation. I was staggered by the scope of this problem, and I'm really applauding you guys for trying to tackle it. I thought the presentation was well crafted, and I love the way you wove your customer discovery findings throughout the presentation. I thought it strengthened the story a lot, made it a lot more powerful. From a feedback standpoint, it wasn't clear to me whether you were only directing students to university mental health resources, or whether you were also directing them to resources outside the university. There are tons of new virtual resources out there right now that might be interesting to students. So I would maybe tighten that portion of the pitch up a little bit. Good job, though.
Thank you,
Neil. Laura, great presentation. As a med peds provider, young adults and adolescents is a particularly close area to my clinical heart, and represents a unique medical need across our country, and the university campus is a particularly unique instance of that. One where transition for young adults from home-based services to campus services is historically a major barrier. So I think the addressable opportunity and market was well framed as a highly topical area to help improve, and a lot of opportunity sits there, and you highlighted that well. And so just congratulations on the presentation and for taking on such an important area of clinical care. I would kind of call it just a few things. It was clear you designed a very both patient and administrator friendly user interface. UX UI design looked great. And I think it's important to acknowledge in these types of products, you do have clearly two customers, both the patient and the university stakeholder, similar to designing a product for clinician and patient. And you highlighted both of those aspects well. I would echo Neil's comment there that it would be helpful to have an example of how you may stitch together specific care opportunities underneath any given different campus or location. As we all know, every campus is likely to be very different. And then second, how some of that, either that stitching together or the UX UI or something different other than those things, is the secret sauce that will separate you or protect you a little bit more from replication in the future. Innovative design will get you far, but outside of first mover advantage, highlighting that a little bit more clearly would be helpful.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm up. So, Laura, that was a great presentation. Your passion definitely came through in the pitch, which always goes a long way for me. I think it's a great target market. Mental health is an epidemic right now. I mean, I'll echo, Brian's comments, especially going to an ER. I mean, they're now overrun with, pediatric holds, which is, really just upsetting. One of my actually feedback points was going to be around the pricing, but I will say, actually, the pricing model is great. I think, being mindful of the only feedback point I would give is you may need to be mindful of where the universities are from a financial standpoint in terms of how you structure that. But I thought the pricing model was good. Really, the only feedback I would give, and it's not so much, it's more general. The mental health startup space can be a little bit tricky. There are a lot of options there. So I think kind of going along with what Brian was saying before is, I always find it helpful to address that just very head on. How are you different from Calm or Headspace, or which I get, but I think spelling it out and really just dumbing it down as much as possible so that people can really understand how you differentiate and where you can bring value that those other options can't.
Thank you, Anna.
Great, and we'll wrap up with Eileen.
Great. Laura, I thought you did a very nice pitch. It was really clear and well articulated, very professional. I think, the need for improved mental health solutions is really well known, and I was surprised by the depth of the problem that you articulated. Some comments that I have, I think there's still a resistance to seeking mental health support. And while you've done a lot of customer discovery, which is really admirable, I think it would be insightful to have disaggregated some of that information. Certainly there's a different gender perspective on seeking mental health services. And, from my experience, some of the more effective tools have considered the cultural messaging that Hopkins and many universities are attracting an increasingly diverse student mix. And the messaging often needs to be tailored to meet those demographic groups. And so I got a great start, but really in terms of penetrating the target market that you're going after, I think there's another level of connection that you may be the storyteller may be well suited to deliver. We just didn't have a chance to hear more about it.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you all.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, judges. We'll give you a few moments to fill out your scorecards for Team Albright. And Laura, Luke, and team, there's some great comments that you've gotten in the chat as well, along with some questions. So I would say that in addition to the great feedback that you're getting from the judges, you have a large captive audience of some experts as well. Paul Nagy, Deputy Director of the Technology Innovation Center, is on. I've seen some great comments from Dr. Yazdi from the Center for Bioengineering, Innovation and Design at Hopkins. And